Good evening. Welcome to the State of Business on our television with me, Tirantha Gunawardana. Let's take a look at today's headlines first. Ceremony to commemorate International Labour Organization's 100th year anniversary held under President's patronage. Central Bank launches roadmap for sustainable finance in Sri Lanka in Washington, D.C. In today's top story, the ceremony to commemorate the 100th year of the International Labour Organization was held at the Nilumpukuna Theatre this morning under the patronage of President Maithripala Sirisena. The centenary celebrations of the International Labour Organization was conducted over a period of 24 hours with the participation of 24 countries from 4 continents, where each ceremony was broadcast live globally, where Sri Lanka's ceremony was slotted in between 10:30 and 11:30 a.m. During his speech, President Sirisena commended the ILO on its campaign to protect and safeguard the rights and benefits of the labour force globally during its 100 years. During the ceremony, Non-Cabinet Minister of Labour and Trade Union Relations, Ravindra Samaravira, presented to the President the research paper on Sri Lankan labour cadre. To commemorate the 100th year anniversary of the ILO, a commemorative stamp and envelope were issued, and the first of these were presented to President Sirisena by Minister of Postal Services and Muslim Religious Affairs, Abdul Halim. The Presidential Media Awards ceremony was held under the patronage of President Maithripala Sirisena at the BMICH yesterday. The primary objective of organizing this award ceremony was to evaluate skills, talents and special capabilities of journalists towards ushering in a media culture with social responsibility. In addition to the awards that were presented for the categories of television, radio, print and web media, 4 Lifetime Achievement Awards were also presented to 4 distinguished individuals representing each category. The awardees were Dr. Edwin Aridas in the field of print media, Karunaratne Amarasinghe in the field of radio, Lushan Bulat Singhal in the field of television media, and Lakshman Jayawardena for the contribution in the field of web media. The Central Bank of Sri Lanka launched a roadmap for sustainable finance in Sri Lanka on the 10th of April 2019 at the Sustainable Banking Network Global Meeting of the International Finance Corporation in Washington, D.C., USA. This roadmap provides a broad direction to financial regulators and financial institutions to effectively manage environmental, social, and governance risks associated with projects they finance and help increase assistance to businesses that are greener, climate-friendly, and socially inclusive. By providing policy guidelines and recommendations for responding to ESG risks and sustainable finance opportunities, the roadmap attempts to scale up the contribution of the financial sector, including banking and finance, capital markets, and insurance industry. The roadmap was developed in consultation with stakeholders, including the Sri Lanka Bankers Association Guarantee Limited, the Finance Houses Association of Sri Lanka, the Insurance Regulatory Commission of Sri Lanka, and the Securities and Exchange Commission of Sri Lanka. Time for us to move in for a short commercial break. Do stay tuned for more news after this. Welcome back. In an exclusive interview with our television, Chairman of the Jetwing Symphony PLC, Hiran Kure, expressed the following regarding potential pitfalls in trying to change the attitude of the general public.
People don't like change. People like to live free, throw things, do as they please, That will happen. That will definitely happen. But that's why I said, there has to be softening approaches from using the schools, educating the teachers, the clergy, and then of course the rule of law. So all those things put together, it's a slow and steady movement where it will eventually happen. Of course, there will be resistance. They don't like, when someone just says things. Naturally, people will laugh at this movement, right? But then someone has to take the leadership and do it, right? And then eventually, after 5 years, 10 years, people will begin to appreciate.
Speaking further, Hiran Kure elaborated upon the importance of the government being proactive in encouraging a paradigm shift in the public.
The rule of the law also must come in, no? Right? So therefore, then when they know that we are likely to get punished if we do this, the fear factor comes in, no? Right? Fear factor will come in, and then the education process also starts with it. So there will be a noticeable change, but not a permanent solution. Permanent solution, I would say 3 years to 5 years. Right? Give yourself 3 to 5 years to work on it, but it has to be strong leadership. There has to be commitment from the head of state to the cabinet to the parliament. There has to be buy-in from the people who implement the rule of law, the police. Everyone has to buy into it and must have ownership of it. And then the schools, education ministry, all of that will come in and play a role. Environment ministry.
Hiran Kure also stressed upon the benefits of manufacturing items locally versus importing them.
Well, now what has happened is it's cheaper to import from China and or wherever, and we hardly manufacture these items in our own country. So what we are doing is we want to, one thing is if we are producing it locally, that means more job opportunities, right? Money does not go out, it remains here. Even if we have to pay 100 rupees extra for an item produced in Sri Lanka, I think we should go for that because it creates more employment and the money remains in the country. So it's a no-brainer. As you say, if we are only left with all the waste product, right, and we have to purify that waste and protect our environment, I mean, the cost is far greater than just sending it for finishing to wherever, India or wherever, and bringing it back.
It's time for another short commercial break. Do stay tuned for the Stock Watch after this. Welcome back. Trading at the Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a negative note today. The All-Share Price Index dropped 7.47 points to close at 5,576.11, and the S&P SL 20 dropped 3.96 points to close at 2,717.09. Turnover was 459.7 million rupees and 26.1 million shares were traded. Up next are today's forex rates. And that's all the news we have for you today. Do join us next week for more of the very latest on State of Business. Until then, take care. Good night.